Hello, hello, hello. This is Kirsten back again. I am doing my third video, but this is actually the first one on a specific topic. And so you've gotten a little bit about me, about my kiddos. This one is about birth order. And I want to split them up into separate videos. So this one is about Julian. As we know now, he's the oldest. He is 9, going on 10. And he has a lot of the traits that an older trait has. Now older trait kid has. So I want to start off by saying that a lot of who we are is nature. There's the nature and nurture debate, and I do believe a good half of who we are as people is just we're born with certain traits. The other half comes from experiences, male or female, how we grow up, what kind of traumatic events, unfortunately, we might experience. And birth order is a part of that. So being the oldest, your parents want to do it right. They want to do it perfectly. They follow the rules. They're extra safe, extra conscientious. They kind of watch you more. You probably have the most pictures. It's an exciting time. And so a lot of these first children take on the traits of what the parents bring into that dynamic. They are perfectionists. They stay in their lane. They want to do things right. They're natural born leaders because they're used to taking charge, because they have had to maybe, or it's just been their role being the oldest out of one or multiple siblings. And they're protectors, they're providers, they're ambitious. And so all this sums up Julian. He is a perfectionist, of course, and that is a double-edged sword. I like to use that term, meaning he likes to do things really well, but if he doesn't do it perfectly, he might get a little stuck because, if I can't figure everything out, then how am I going to get this done? And then he doesn't get it done. And that's, my husband's a perfectionist. My mom was a perfectionist. I know a lot of people that are. And wanting to do things great is wonderful, but if it needs to be perfect, you can't get stuck. So I talked to my my oldest, Julian, about it doesn't need to be perfect. Your best is good enough. And as I said in the personality video, his best often is extraordinary. So it's interesting, we were just in Hilton Head, and he just learned how to ride his bike, just like that I was mentioning. He doesn't know how. He decided to, he said as soon as we got home, Dad, can we go bike riding? I want to go ahead and try it. We've been trying for 5 years. They took the bike out without the training wheels. He was doing it just like that. We told him he would, and I think he saw all these kids younger than him, dozens of little kids, riding around Hilton Head without training wheels, and he was like, okay, it's time, I got to do this now. And he had to see it in order to make that decision. They do things on their own timetable, oldest children a lot of times, but they will get it done and they will do what's right. So I did want to do an outside video because I love being in nature, just like the second one. Oftentimes, though, you can't control the sound, so you will hear maybe a little bird chirping, which is peaceful, but then there's a little bit construction, which is often the case. So please forgive that. And I just like communing with nature, Mother Earth, Father God, right? So that is Julian, the first child. He takes care of everybody. He sees himself as a little adult. And so, he thinks that the rules sometimes don't apply to him like they do his brother and his sister because I'm older. I've been through this. I've done this. I know what you all know because I'm a little adult. And so we do have to talk to him about that. You have not earned those stripes yet. It's going to take time and experience. And yes, you know more than your siblings, but you are not a literal adult. And so that's a lot of times what oldest children take on too. They think that they have the same rights and privileges as the adults in the room because they're not at the same level as the babies. And we'll talk about the middle child and youngest child and what happens with them. So that is Julian in a nutshell. I said in the personality video, capable is the biggest word that comes to mind, and that is a word that you would probably use to describe an oldest child. Why? Because again, they want to do things right, perfectly. They want to do what's right. And so with that comes capability and leadership. And so I definitely see him being a leader in society. Now, firstborns are often leaders, and you have to get into the gender dynamics and different things, and I do want to talk more about in different videos. But as the firstborn son, there's a lot that's going to be on his shoulders, and we don't want him to feel pressure. We want him to feel, the privilege of it. We want him to feel the responsibility in a positive way of what possibilities are at his disposal and at his fingertips. Being the oldest, and carrying on this legacy in our family. He'll be the first to carry that legacy to the next generation. So he is capable of anything and everything, and he has a good head in his shoulders, and again, he is brilliant. So what we get to do is, send him out in the world prepared to lead with his confidence. Oldest children are often very confident naturally because they're the ones who are looked to in all the siblings to make the decisions, and they just naturally become the ones who say, well, okay, I'm going to determine it because I know best. Hence the little adult thing again. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Gabe as the middle child in the next video, but this was just a short one about Julian, the oldest child. As always, like and subscribe. I would love questions. If you have specific questions on an oldest child and traits and how to discipline differently, I would love that. I'll probably do a video on disciplining oldest children as opposed to other kids based on birth order. But this is the first one. Take care.